Hi guys, it's Ashley the Catalyst here again. So I had mentioned in my first video, which was brutal, I'm still very anxiety ridden because I literally just recorded and uploaded it. We're going to keep the ball rolling though. I had mentioned that although that this is not the way that I wanted to produce my content as far as like not having proper equipment, audio, all these things, um, but if I continue to wait, I may not ever be able to achieve that. So I just wanted to get the ball rolling and get the things put out. My one of my passion projects, which obviously my whole channel is to help people, so everything's a passion project technically, but specifically I came up with a program. Now, one of my absolute favorite personalities on YouTube that has a channel is Dr. Emma Kenny, Kenny. I will post the link to her channel in my description. She does a lot of true crime, but she is a psychologist, and she touches base a lot on that. She spent a majority of her career doing safeguarding and things to help children, obviously, which I am not a mother. I will never have biological children, but children are my thing. They're my people. I love them. So she got me thinking about what can I do, being broke AF, not having financial resources, obviously, for my own self, let alone to put out and help people in a monetary way. What can I do to try to make a difference somewhere? I happened to see an interview of a hacker. His name is Ryan. He is in Florida, and he is somebody who actually actively does like the Chris Hansen type of To Catch a Predator, where they basically um, set up a meet to record people that are trying to do and meet things with children, which is deplorable. And then they put it out on YouTube when they have contact with them. And it got me thinking. So I've always known that I wanted to help people, but initially when I had left high school, I did try to be a criminal justice major. It did not take very long for me to realize that that was not going to be an effective way for me to make a difference or to do anything because of the childhood that I had. It's only going to take one child. The one eye contact with the one child will say everything to me, and I will end up probably taking the law into my own hands, which is also why I couldn't do social work and things of that nature. So I know that there's that sentiment that they say it's by a famous Frenchman. When you stare into the abyss long enough, it will stare back at you. Those who fight monsters ought to be careful not to become monsters. So that approach, as much as I admire it all day, every day, and understand it and could handle it in a sense where I am very aware the monsters exist. Everybody has good and bad in them. I don't. I'm very desensitized because I expose myself to everything, the worst of the worst, so I can understand people, especially at their worst. So that being said, I started looking into mentorships. But for me, although I like the idea of a mentorship, to me that means that only one child is being mentored. And even though making a difference in one child's life is all that really matters in the grand scheme of things, I don't like leaving people out. And I feel like, to be blunt, I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing the phrase falling through the cracks. It disgusts me on every level. So why would you, if you could come up with a way to help every kid, even kids that you don't know that need help or they don't know that they need help, if you could leave nobody out, why would you not want to try that? So I came up with we'll call it a program. It's more of probably a seminar open dialogue. I did reach out to my local school district where I reside and where I went to middle school and high school at. I've not heard back, which that's okay. So I just want to share what I came up with because, again, I just want to help people. And if there's people out there that are in a position where that they can maybe try to implement a program or what have you, such as what I came up with, I want to share it. So that's what we're doing now. Basically, I feel like a big issue that people have, just people in general, all of us, me too, been there, is that there are things that are just so hard to talk about. But why are they hard to talk about? It's because nobody talks about them. There's also the sentiment of not in my neighborhood or my town or under my roof or my kid. And on one hand, my initial reaction to those types of statements are yes, your town. Yes, your neighbor. Yes, under your roof. Yes, your kid. That way of thinking, though, you can't fight fire with fire. And at the same time, I'm never going to try to tell anybody how to parent. I'm not a parent. I love kids, but I'm not a parent. I don't like to do things by force. I do, however, like to, which I will never understand why it's so hard to come up with things like this. Why should we have to wait until there are victims? Why should we have to wait until a child falls victim to a predator on TikTok or Twitch or whatever streaming, gaming, social media that they're connecting on? If there's connection to connect two people, there are predators on there. The end. Children are getting groomed and creating child pornography out of coercion, by blackmail, by random individuals all over the world every single second of every day. You don't have to be kidnapped and smuggled across the border and put into human sex trafficking to be committing it. It's still the same thing. There's predators everywhere, just the world we live in. Also, why do we have to wait for children to commit suicide because of cyberbullying, because of things that they thought nobody could understand, so they didn't open their mouth, or because they were too ashamed, or because they felt like it would be worse? Why do we have to wait for these things to create victims? If we wait for that, then there's already victims, there's already damage. So why not try an approach to where we can have an open dialogue and talk about things in a way where nobody has to be afraid or hide? And that's pretty much what I came up with. So again, I want nothing out of this but to share this, because I mean, honestly, it would be my dream to be able to go to the high school I graduated from and the middle school I went to and be able to do this program myself. But that might not be an option, and that's okay. But I want nothing more than to somebody to try to do something. Again, my big thing is being different, just trying different. That doesn't mean right, wrong, better, worse. It just means different. We constantly do the definition of insanity, where we do the same thing and expect a different result, and it clearly is never going to work out. So this is me being different. So this is the instruction sheet. Basically, what I came up with was a questionnaire. It has a few purposes. It is meant to be filled out by the students anonymously, so they do not put their names on it. The only thing they put on it is their grade. That is it. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, one of the hard, even though I've never had a problem speaking up or doing what's right or saying whatever I feel like it, which still is the case, I know that it is a shit ton easier for people to be honest and open when they don't have to worry about judgment, retribution, consequences, things like that. Like, they're more likely to be honest if they feel like they're not going to be held accountable for something that they don't even realize isn't wrong. It's just being honest. So I came up with the questionnaire. Again, it's not meant to be identifiable. The only reason the grade is there is because obviously age appropriateness comes in. I don't think that a 12th grader needs the same discussion in the same context or the same subtopics or the same direction as maybe a 7th grader would. So that's the reason why you would distinguish the grades. But at the same time, my graduating class, I'm pretty sure, was either 200 or 300 something. There are rural area schools where their entire high school is like 200 people. So these kids may be exposed differently or not as much or what have you. So you have to make it applicable to that particular grade, class, what have you. So that's the reason why I only want the grade on it. They can fill it out on their own time. They can have a couple days to do it. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable because they may hand it into a teacher who can identify their handwriting. I understand mandatory reporting. It's probably one of the only things in this justice system that I am 100% for. But at the same time, I don't want a child to feel that they can't say something out of fear or out of consequence or thinking they're going to be identified. I want them to be able to speak as freely as possible. And that's how you create trust. So you probably would put drop-off boxes maybe just in the school because they can all be collected together since the grade will be identifying it. So the instructions on here would be, please only write your grad year or current grade on the top of the form to ensure the right things are addressed per grade year. I know it is much easier to share and speak up when you can do it in a way that you won't feel singled out. Do not put your name on this questionnaire so that no one but you will know how you've answered. You are safe to be 100% honest and transparent. There are no right or wrong answers. There will be no consequences for whatever your responses may be. No one will be able to judge you because no one will know what you wrote but you. So at the end of it, I also put, in order to protect the anonymity, students will have until Thursday the same week to fill this out on their own time, given that it's given out on like a Monday or something. In the event extra time needed, that may not be the case. Again, like I stated, there will also be drop-off boxes for students to submit their completed questionnaires into so they do not have the fear of being identified by their handwriting, etc., or worry about another peer seeing their responses as they fill it out. I also noted that the purpose for the seemingly innocuous questions are to find and promote common ground amongst peers. Common ground breeds positive, impactful camaraderie. The purpose of the more pointed questions is to gauge the level and severity of importance for the discussion. So the questions are as follows. Now, this is just a broad spectrum. I think about things like where students are. I'm so grateful that smartphones were only just coming out when I was in high school. We had like a Nextel, the Trip Sharp. It was like the first camera phone my senior year. I could not imagine what it would be like to have all my fuck ups and irresponsible behavior and mistakes recorded for all of time. And it really bothers me that that is the case nowadays. And I want to be able to like try to combat that the best way possible. I feel like when, instead of doing things by force, if you do things in a way where you give people the tools to help themselves, I have faith and I have hope in the fact that that will be the outcome more often than not. But whether it doesn't even matter about the outcome, because at the end of the day, we got to try something different, you know? I was walking to the car the other day, and because I have to park in visitor parking about 2 blocks away. So there was these 3 little girls out in their driveway. I want to say 2 of them were probably 10, 11 at the oldest. And then there was a younger one. She's probably 8 or 9. She's doing dance moves. The 2 older ones were holding a cell phone. So obviously I know what they were doing on TikTok. I immediately think to myself, them little girls are so cute. I really hope somebody's telling them about stranger danger on TikTok. Like, that's where I'm at. By the way, for the record, TikTok, you suck. You wouldn't give a Spencer a TikTok. You must have known that I was going to go on there and do some stranger danger awareness shit. Because you want to let predators on there all the time, but you don't want to let me have an account? Yeah, that's right. I tried to create a TikTok. Never been on TikTok. Don't give a shit about TikTok. But I need to help the kids where they're at on TikTok. So I tried to create an account. My shit got suspended and blocked before I even ever logged in on it. They must have known I was trying to help. TikTok, you suck. And yes, I have the receipts for that. I'm not just making that up. Anyways, moving on. So the questionnaire is as follows. The first question is, do you have your own social media accounts? If yes, which ones? If yes, are they monitored by your primary caretaker, guardian, or parent? If so, how? If you do have them, but they're not monitored, why? The next question is, do you engage in social gaming where you communicate with others live real time as you play? If so, what games do you play the most? And on average, how much time do you think you spend playing throughout the weekdays and the weekends? The next question is, have you ever been made aware of what it means to be safe when online? The next question is, do you pretend that you are anyone other than yourself when online, regardless of the use? For example, catfishing. The next question is, do you engage with people online that you don't know actually in real life? The next question, in your own words, what does it mean to be a bully? The next question, do you feel that you have ever been bullied? If so, please describe the circumstances, such as your age, the situation, or reason, by one person or a group. For how long did it go on? How or when did it stop, etc. The next question is, do you feel that you have ever bullied anyone else? If so, please describe. Is there anything that you've done in which you regret or are scared to discuss with an adult or someone in authority? Then please list your 3 favorite activities, hobbies, things to do. Again, the purpose of this is to create common ground and camaraderie, because it's so easy to look at somebody and say, they don't look like me, we can't have anything in common. That's part of the problem while we're still fighting the demographics and all these things that shouldn't even matter, because you can't control them, you can't pick them, you can't change them, you can't choose the womb you come out of into the world to. So like, your born gender, your sexual orientation, your skin pigmentation are not pickable things either, so they shouldn't matter. But we're still fighting this constantly because people think I don't have anything in common with them because I don't look like them. They can't possibly understand what I've gone through or what I deal with on a regular. And I don't want to hear what they have to say. You're going to rebel against what you don't know, which you're unfamiliar with. Well, I don't. I'm a know-it-all, but not a know-it-all, because I want to know it all, but I'll never know it all. That's not a deterrent. It'll never stop me from trying to know it all, even though I'll never know it all. I like to understand things that I'm unfamiliar or ignorant with. But I understand it's easier to just reject. That's just life. So I want to create camaraderie. So moving on, please list your least 3 favorite things to do. Please list anything that makes you fearful or causes you to be anxious or uncomfortable. Do you enjoy being at school? Are there any reasons in particular? Do you enjoy being at home? Are there any reasons in particular? Please list at least 2 things about yourself that you like or take pride in. Please list at least 2 things about yourself that you wish you could change or you'd want to be different if possible. Is there anything you wish you could change about your home life or school life? If you could if you could change anything in your day-to-day life, whether it be your school life, your interactions with your peers or your family, etc., what would it be and how would you change it? Do you feel that you have somebody in your life with whom you can talk about anything to? Is there anything that you want to share anonymously or anything you want me to discuss that you feel is important? Please feel free to state it here, and if not, that's okay too. So basically, again, I feel like the most important thing to get honesty is not feeling singled out or feeling judged. We have all been that kid that wanted to say something but didn't, even though it was important and prevalent and all that. Or we have spoke up and we've got that visceral reaction of all eyes on us, uncomfortable, and then you got the peanut gallery, the ad-libs getting thrown out, talking shit, just being assholes for no reason. I've been that asshole kid. And I've also been treated like an asshole too for no reason. So I feel like filling this out anonymously will get truth and transparency. But you can do it in a way where if it's not, so your parents aren't there, so you don't have to worry about any consequences or feeling uncomfortable in that case, because I know that I hear a lot of the research that I do, particularly where children who fall through the cracks or any type of documentaries, really, I often hear, parents say that their kids can come to them about anything, and they may feel that way. That may be true to them. But roles in reverse, even if you have an open parent, that's still a parent that you don't if you could have the best relationship with the world and that with them, but you don't want to let them down. You don't want to feel like you've wronged them, or you've wronged their parenting, or disrespected them, or they might love you less, or because you fucked up. Like, as a child, because I mean, the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until mid-20s, which I speak that from experience clearly, because that was when I started to get my shit together and stop being a relentless savage all the time. But at the same time, things are so much more overwhelming as a kid. And now I can't even imagine what it, I mean, having things recorded, but I don't understand. It's hard for me to grasp the concept of how you can see somebody being taken advantage of, whether it's somebody who drank too much or somebody who's being bullied, and your instinct is to somehow pull out a phone and record it. For what? Instead of stopping it. I've always been the type where I'll take an ass whooping for a stranger before I let somebody get jumped in front of me, because it's just not right. So maybe that's why it's so hard for me to grasp. But I mean, I don't want to be judgmental. I just want to reach the kids where they're at. I feel like this way, if they're going to be judgmental or whatever to anybody, it would be me, because I'm the one going over the answers. I'm the one presenting the research or the facts or providing awareness, all of that. If they want to take the shot at me, go ahead, take the shot. I'm used to it. Everybody takes a shot at me. It's my story of my life. I get blamed for everything. I'm good. There's nothing anybody can say to me that will affect me. And that's true. That's not bullshit. That's true. So that's my proposal. I just wanted to share it. Again, I'm sorry for the I'm trying to get a grasp on this recording stuff. Not vain. I don't like selfies, so I'm a little awkward, but we'll get there. We will get there. I just wanted to share this and put this out there for the world, because, well, it would mean everything for me to be a part of it, to try to implement it. But I have to think that this is a good starting point to make a difference. Why wait for the school shootings to happen? Why wait for the suicides to happen? Why wait for the child to be victim of predators that are coming through the internet? Why wait? We don't have to wait if we can stop it before it happens. And that's my sentiment. This is my way of fighting monsters. Otherwise, the monster in me would probably be coming out otherwise. So